I'm Kevin Power, and this is SaskScapes, the podcast featuring stories of arts, culture, and heritage in Saskatchewan. This episode of SaskScapes is sponsored by the Saskatchewan German Council. The Saskatchewan German Council is a provincial nonprofit umbrella organization to nearly 40 member groups, representing all people of German-speaking backgrounds. By engaging people of all ages to become active and involved partners in a vibrant multicultural community, the Saskatchewan German Council is committed to the preservation and promotion of the German language, traditions, and culture for all people of Saskatchewan. You'll find the link to their website in the show notes. Tell me, do you believe in the power of dreams? I wonder if we can dream something into existence. Well, proof of that idea may be answered by this episode's guest. Welcome back to another episode in the SaskScapes Presents German Culture Alive series. Now, when it comes to celebrating German culture in our province, you can't go without mentioning the name Rosa Gebhart. Because since the formation of organizations like the German Heritage Society of Humboldt and District, of which Rosa is a charter member, Rosa has been there. Even from the establishment of the SGC, Rosa was there. When it comes to commissioning and installing the egg money statue in the market area, Rosa was there. And when it comes to German art, holiday wreaths, and, well, I could go on, you get the idea, Rosa was there. Rosa immigrated from Germany, the Black Forest area, as an adventure. Now, when I say adventure, I mean it. And going back to that idea that dreams can come true, Rosa had a remarkable dream when she was a child, which you'll hear her talk about. A dream that foreshadowed her coming to Canada. And, well, like so many initiatives in the culture and heritage sectors, the organizations and activities like that in which Rosa was involved are built on the backs of volunteers, and Rosa is to be commended for her volunteerism over the years. It was a treat to have her back to the series because she was one of my guests in episode 93, where we talked about German holiday traditions. It was also a treat to have Gabriele Waidelich-Harrison back again as my host co-pilot. This is a great episode recorded on a warm, colorful fall day in Gabby's bright, welcoming living room. What a pleasure it is to always have a guest come back to the SaskScapes series, and that's what I get to do again because with me is Rosa Gebhart, who was on episode 93 way back during the pandemic. And on the other side of me is Gabriele Waidelich-Harrison, who's back again. And Gabby is the executive director of the Saskatchewan German Council. And we're sitting in Gabby's house, and it's nice and cozy, and it's the first day of fall.
Oh my goodness.
And it is, and it looks incredibly fall-like outside. And we were just discussing that. I had just seen on the news that it was the 190th anniversary of Oktoberfest, which was celebrated in Munich yesterday. So 190 years ago. Rosa was not around for the original one.
No.
Right. But you are originally from Germany. And I remember when we spoke the first time on the phone, you said something which I've never forgotten, that you had a dream that you were flying and that you were flying to Canada, and somehow you just knew that it was meant to be, that you would come here. Is that right?
That is right. I forgot I told you that already.
Yeah. So let's go back and revisit where in Germany you were born. Was it in the northern region?
No, I am born in the northern part of the Black Forest foothills.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an area called Ortenau,
Okay.
and it's about 70 kilometers south of Karlsruhe and the same amount from north of Freiburg.
Okay, so those would be the two biggest
Those
centers.
two biggest centers, and
Right.
across is the River Rhine and the city of Strasbourg.
All right. Mm-hmm. So none of these places were far away from you,
No,
really?
no.
Not in compare. We forget that Canada is so widespread, yeah?
Yeah.
And everything is very close.
Yeah.
So what were your memories growing up like? What did your mom and dad do?
I grew up on a farm.
Oh,
And it was multiple everything. Like we had a good amount of forest
yeah.
nestled right into that forest region, and but had grains, potatoes, and then the haying for the. We had about 4 or 5 milk cows. We had, of course, pig barn and a chicken coop and a big garden. And there was lots of things to do all year round, practically.
Right.
Because the vineyard kind of never stops. After you take off the grapes in September, October, by January, mind you, those winters are not anything like Canadian winters.
Yes.
If it's kind of wettish or foggish, it's a good time to prune.
Uh-huh.
And then bend that one thing onto the first wire, and from there the shoots grow up, which brings the new harvest for the following year.
So were you making your own wine then as well?
We did not. My dad was very early on a member of the Winzergenossenschaft.
That's a mouthful.
Uh-huh.
And what is that?
That is a co-op that was collecting all the grapes from the region,
Yeah.
and then they had proper amounts to produce a good quality wine for the market,
Right.
Yeah, so
it was more product to sell.
yeah.
Right. But meanwhile, both of your parents and you and any others in your family?
Oh, I am number 5 out of 7 siblings.
Oh, I have 7 as well. You're 5.
Yeah, I'm 5.
I'm 7.
Are you?
Yeah. Right. So you all had no choice.
Yeah.
You had to work on the farm.
Oh, yeah. Plus, when we had grandma still living with us, my dad's mom, and a brother of my grandfather, and our great uncle. He was single, and he lived with us as well.
Was that quite common to have extended family?
Plus, when we were still younger, my mom had hired a live-in nanny to help around the household and also garden and that stuff too. So yeah, it made for a sizable table for meals.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I bet.
Yeah.
But all your food you could just get from the backyard.
It's probably we were self-sufficient mainly.
Yeah.
All you bought was sugar, and even flour was kind of ground. And
is that where you met your husband, in that region?
oh God, no.
No?
That's where that dream comes in that kept me to Canada.
Oh, you met your husband here in Canada?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
In Saskatchewan?
In Yellowknife.
Okay, so wait a minute. So you came over here with what family members?
None.
None? All by yourself?
On my own.
At the age of?
Early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did your parents feel about that?
Well, my mom wasn't too happy.
Yeah.
But my dad was a good traveler. He kind of understood. If I could just go back for a minute, I had gone to the schooling, and I had finished my training as a home ec consultant. I was working for the Department of Agriculture in Kehl, which is a city right across from Strasbourg. I was working there, and that's when I really knew I was restless. I knew I wasn't going to spend the rest of my life in that area.
Yeah.
So I phoned up the fellow that was in charge of the agricultural movement in our province, Baden-Württemberg. I was quite active in what's called Landjugend, and I was very active in that movement. We did all kinds of things there. So I phoned him up and I asked him, is there an exchange program to Canada for somebody or for me? And he said, there is one with the States for a year. I said, no, I'm not interested in the States. I want to go to Canada. He said, oh, just hold on. Something just landed on my desk. And it is a program. You have to have an agricultural background. And it goes for 6 months to Canadian farms. And it's already active, the program, in Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. So every year there was about 100 young people from those countries going to Canada during the summer and fall and work on farms for 6 months. And he said Germany is not included, but you can certainly apply. So I applied. And then they start advertising in Germany. So that year we actually were 10 Germans taking part in that program. And just very recently I heard on the CBC News that this program that was instituted in the 60s, agriculture program, still exists. There's now young fellows. There was one in Saskatchewan. He was very knowledgeable with computers and the combines, which are full of computers.
Yeah.
And he was working on the farm, and the farmer was so happy to get somebody he can trust with the machinery with and can just start doing the work.
So my nephew is actually part of the farming program, and he's currently in British Columbia, where he's working on a farm, first time ever, no farming experience at all. And I don't know if that's the same program or something similar, but that is to help promote farming to the younger generation, because it's dying off with the older generations. So he's out there right now looking after pigs and gathering eggs and washing eggs every morning and doing all of that in BC. And that's part of a sponsored program. And it's like an apprenticeship. Yeah. They get paid, they get room and board there.
Right, yeah, I do too.
So that's great. So, but you came straight from Germany then to the Yukon?
No, I came on this exchange program and I was placed on a farm in southern Alberta.
Okay.
Wonderful host family.
Yeah.
And there was also a Norwegian fellow from the same program. He was, working in the fields. I was working in the garden in the household with the farm lady. And then I had to go back. We all had to go back in October. There was no just hanging out here. And it was then when I was on the train from Amsterdam. We flew to Amsterdam to Edmonton and back that way. Amsterdam to Offenburg, I thought, how crowded, how small is everything. It just really hit me, the difference of prairie, Canadian prairie, and the lifestyle in Germany.
Yeah.
I just knew I can't do this anymore. So that was October 1966. And by Christmas 1966, I confided in my siblings, I will be emigrating to Canada for good. There's no shred of a doubt. And then I told my parents later.
She says with a sheepish look.
And of course, because I was on leave of absence from my government job, you can only give notice at the quarter of the year. You have to give a quarter year notice. So I gave notice in March, I guess, to be released in end of June. Yeah, end of June. And then I put my immigration work in place. I had to go to Stuttgart, to the consulate, and you have a medical checkup and interview. I was approved, and I got my passport with a visa in it in a few weeks. It was my happiest day. Because I was so convinced. I knew I was cut out for it. I just had to.
So how did you wind up in the north?
Okay, I started out, as I immigrated, I started out in Calgary for 2 years. And I found Calgary a very welcoming city at that time. And then I thought, this country is so big. I had a map, like a Canadian map from the border, southern border to the North Pole. I spread that out and I pinpoint a few places up north, like Whitehorse, Yellowknife, Churchill. And I was telling the ladies that at work I was working for a Digitech company. I had a first computer as big as a room. Yeah. And because, before that, of course, I had to change my occupation. There was no such a thing as a home ec consultant here.
Oh.
So when I was in Calgary those 2 years, I took evening classes at SAIT.
Yeah.
In drafting. I always wanted to do drafting, So I became a mechanical draftswoman.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I used that in that job already in Canada.
Now, how many women would have been in that profession at the time?
Not too many.
Yeah.
Not too many.
You were groundbreaking.
Yeah. So anyway, I was telling the ladies at coffee break that I really would like to go north. I want to see what that is like and how one could work up there. And one said, "Oh, choose Yellowknife. My parents are up there. You get a job in no time." Packed my bags. Up I went to Yellowknife.
Hopefully she let her parents know.
I met them. They were very nice people, yeah.
And that's where you met your husband.
After
who was
a while,
an engineer.
Not quite. He was still. He was on summer break then.
Okay.
And then he had to still finish a year or two after that. Yeah.
He got there after you.
Yeah. And he was only there for the summer. I was there for 5 years in Yellowknife. It's a wonderful time up there. There were so many young people from all across Canada and Europe. There was people from the Netherlands, from Switzerland, Germany, Poland. It was a wonderful time to be up there. And culturally, there was a mixed choir, and they put on a production every year, and I took part in that. And it was fun. It was great fun. Yeah.
So when did you actually meet the husband then?
Oh, like he happened to work at this. I worked for Giant Yellowknife Mines as a geology, like in geology and engineering, and he worked there too. So that's where we met at work.
And he said, "Whoa, a woman works here."
I was the only
Not
one.
too many. Were you the only one?
Oh yeah.
Right, you had your pick of the litter, and you chose him.
Yeah.
Right. Eventually, you did leave there, and you came to Saskatchewan?
Yeah, after about 5 years, I think it was about 5 years, then because the seasons up there are two.
Yeah, it's 2 seasons, right?
And where I come from, we have 4 seasons, and it kind of, I just felt like I want to go back to Main Street, Canada. But it was, when you're so far up north, you really look down on the globe. So I remembered taking a bus trip from Edmonton to Regina because my dad told me, if you go to Canada, please visit my cousin. He had a cousin, same age and same names. And they went to school together. They were best friends. And he immigrated to Canada, ended up in Avonlea, Saskatchewan. So I took this bus trip, and was over late in the evening, came down University Bridge, and there was all those lights of downtown reflecting in the river. It was just such a beautiful sight. And that came into mind, and I thought, okay, Saskatoon it is.
Now, this is interesting because when I think of exotic places like the Rhine River, and I'm thinking, that sounds so exotic, yet to you, something spectacular was the light shining on the northern Saskatchewan River.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But you eventually wound up in Humboldt. How did that happen?
My husband then, not husband, he was still boyfriend. We had a 5-year.
Hey, wait a minute. He was your boyfriend? You mumbled under your breath?
Yeah.
He followed you just as your boyfriend?
No, like when he was in Yellowknife, he was only there for the summer.
Okay.
He went back to university here, finishing his engineering degree.
Here in Saskatoon?
Here in Saskatoon. Okay. He went for mining engineering.
Yeah.
And then he got a job in Manitoba. I'm here in Saskatoon. And then later on, he got a job in Uranium City.
Oy.
And he said, I think we better get married.
Yeah.
So here I go up north again, Uranium City.
You did go to Uranium City?
Yeah, all our children are born there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, interesting. And my husband saw the writing on the wall. He said when uranium prices went down and the production went up, doesn't work too long business-wise. So he said, I think we should go back south again. So in 81 we left and went to Saskatoon.
Okay.
That was kind of our home.
Because where I'm getting to is in 1984 you were in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
And in 1984, that's when you were one of the founding members of the Saskatchewan German Council.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that a little bit. And Gabby, you chime in at any point as well. Because you might be interested in the Saskatchewan German Council at some point. So how did that come about? I guess, how did you and the other people that were in your circle, who presumably were German, how did you come to a point where you thought, we need to have a council of some sort? There's enough of us here.
Yeah. That was Dr. Cox, who was the instigator on that. And that it started in the early 80s. The country was really open to multiculturalism. That's when that really became kind of Main Street. And he said, we need to form a council in this province because Saskatchewan had 30% of their population was of German descent.
Right.
So that made sense.
Right.
And he said, if we don't do it now, this opportunity may never come again. Mm-hmm. And he was right. So it started then. And then the provincial government sent around a team. And they went to different places, and of course they came to Humboldt. We were in Humboldt then, and said they asked questions. There was a meeting. Anybody could have gone. There were not many going. There was about 4 or 5 of us. We're all German, and they asked, "Do you have German given in the school?" No. Do you have German religious services? No. Do you speak the language still in the town? No.
Well, this is all very inspirational.
I said, this is a German town. And you look in the telephone book, German names from A to Z.
Yeah.
And then they said it would really be advisable to do something here to bring this German heritage back. And then there was about 3 of us that were at that meeting that got together afterwards, and we said, okay, how are we going to go about this? And we came up with doing a survey that was spread through the whole community. If anybody's interested in joining and working with a German society, or any other nationality. survey came back with high numbers of a return, and the majority, I think it was about 90%, was for German. There was one or two that were for Italian, but there was not the population to support. So I went, there was a Secretary of State office in Saskatoon at that time. I don't know if you remember, Gabi. It was Mr. Stushnov, I remember him well. And I went to see him, and he helped me with the survey. And then I went back with the results. He said, Rosa, it's obvious. You've got to organize here. This is a fantastic result. And then we formed, I still
So the organization was the German Heritage Society of Humboldt and District.
Yes.
That was officially the
That was officially, It was 5 of us got together, formed the executive, and formed that. And we had a great support in the community. On our working group, we had high school teachers, we had future mayor on there, we had business people on it. It was really, a vibrant thing to do. And
were you bringing a German culture to people who weren't of German descent? I mean, were you doing things in town?
In town.
So everybody could attend?
And there were, my mom came from Germany, or my parents came from Germany, but it all got lost, and what surprised me the most was even the food was not there anymore.
Oh.
So that was one of the first things I started. I did a German Kaffeestunde, we call it, coffee hour.
Like a coffee house?
Yeah. And I talked to the cafe on Main Street if they were willing to provide the coffee, and some of us, we would bring German cakes. He was Greek, the fellow with, and he said, by all means, no problem. So we set the date, put it in the paper, and I had about 3 ladies that helped baking, and we set up this Kaffeestunde. I got downtown. They were lined up around the block.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
For that initiative.
Yeah, around the block.
Just needed, the desire was there, it just needed someone to make it happen.
That's right, He could barely keep up with the coffee making. Just the cake was gone in no time. It was amazing. We thought, well, okay, this is a no, no questions asked. And then we did another one, probably the following year or some fall. I'm not sure about the dates, but we went to the Legion Hall that time and did the whole thing. And then with Kaffeestunde, what I always did is added German traditions, like exhibiting Osterkranz or Ostereier, if it was that season of the year, if it was around Easter time, because they had not known that there was such a thing as German Easter eggs.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh.
There are, and it's actually way older than the Ukrainian. Goes back.
Older than the Ukrainian.
Back to the 3rd century.
Oh.
They found colored eggs in graves.
Wow.
Yeah. And we have a multitude of ways to decorate eggs, not just the one that Ukrainians do.
So was the German Heritage Society the beginnings of the seed that then became the Saskatchewan German Council?
No,
they were two separate entities.
Yeah,
altogether.
it was local. It was always local.
So the Saskatchewan German Council had already been formed.
Yes, they formed in 84, right.
Okay, so and you were still involved in that?
Yes,
okay, right.
I was, I made many trips to Regina. That's where we met. There was a lady from Yorkton.
And how were you funded?
Funded?
What's funding?
Out of our own pockets, I guess.
Yeah, out of your own pockets.
As usual, when you volunteer, costs money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was so interesting, and
But
we
you
had such
did-
good people on there in that first executive. And the first Treffpunkt was in 88.
Yeah, 88 was
Yeah.
the first time.
Is that Saskatchewan German days?
Yeah, that was a gathering of whatever groups there already existed in Saskatchewan. It's called Treffpunkt, like meeting place.
Now, I was here then, and I do remember there being a German pavilion in Folkfest.
Okay, the club would be older than that. The club would have existed.
The club will be is 68 years old. They will be celebrating their 70th anniversary, like the German club in Saskatoon. So maybe they were already part of that.
Okay, but the German club and the Saskatchewan German Council are two separate entities. Okay, so probably the Saskatoon German Club was responsible for the presence of Folkfest.
Yeah, they would have hosted, I assume, they would have hosted the German pavilion just as
Yeah,
they
they
did
would have.
all these years until the
Yeah.
They
club
had their
building was
own
sold.
building and the room
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have done that. Yeah. But the Treffpunkt was something else. And Dr. Cox, he said, we must not go into, for instance, Regina Clubhouse for this. We have to go public, in a public place. And it wasn't the Regina Inn, was the whole Treffpunkt was a 2, if not 3-day thing. I remember starting out with a concert. And he had a quartet from the Symphony Regina playing Haydn's Emperor Quartet, the one movement that is our national anthem. And that was so moving. And we would have been, I don't know how many people we were there, but again, I was responsible for setting up in one part of the hall baking from all different German groups. Like I went out to Mennonites, I went out to Austrians, to Swiss people, and asked what their traditional bakings were and if they would supply something. And then I also added our German things to that too, and again had other traditions set out, like a wreath, Easter wreath or whatever. I can't remember all that. Don't have pictures either. But that we always added that to it, then another extra component of the cultural part, you know.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about the bronze statue that was commissioned. When would that's the egg money statue?
Okay, that's connected with the 100 years of Saskatchewan, which was in 2005. There was a German club in Saskatoon. They said, this is an occasion, we need to celebrate this. And someone there had done research and said there used to be German Days celebrated in Saskatoon until 1932. And they decided, let's make a German Day within the celebrations of 100 years Saskatchewan.
Okay.
And they asked me to join the group, the organization committee. And we went to City Hall and asked if we could do our celebration in front of City Hall. Had a German flag flying there. Dr. Cox was so impressed. He said, I never thought I would see this. And we asked, I found this lady, she's a Swiss lady, she was a professor at STM, to give a tribute to the pioneer women, because there's a lot written about the pioneer men that broke the land.
Isn't that always the way?
And hardly anything on the women who were the bearers of the children.
Yeah.
And did more than their share.
Yeah.
You know. And I insisted to call our whole German celebration of this German Day in the tribute of pioneer women of Saskatchewan. And they all said, absolutely, yeah. So then I asked this Mrs. Dudley from SDM, and she had come here as an immigrant, and she knew all about this. She gave a wonderful tribute in front of City Hall there about these Saskatchewan pioneer women. And then afterwards, we had dances there too, and the brass band was playing like it was really, nice celebration. But afterwards, we met again, and I said, words are beautiful, and they were so good, but I think the women deserve something, a more tangible tribute. And how about a statue? And then we formed a small committee. There was Sabine Atchison and Barbara Hogarth and myself. And Sabine found this sculpture that a Cochrane couple has what you call the foundry. And they had already made 2 statues of, this was called in honor of the pioneer women of Canada or of the prairies. And the one was in Cochrane and one in what's that called in Calgary, Fish Creek Park. And it was a pioneer woman with 5 chickens on the floor, 2 children. One had a basket of eggs and the other one holding some chicks. And the statue is called Egg Money. And Sabine found this. And I said, that's it. And we contacted them, and they said, we got 2 statues going. We only will make 1 more. If you want this, wonderful, great. Then the forms get destroyed. No. So, yeah. Then we had to come up with a large sum of money to bring this about.
Yeah.
And it was an ardent job of yours truly.
Yes.
To publicize the idea, put ads in different papers, and go out, give talks, and oh my gosh, it was...
To fundraise.
To fundraise, yeah. We had to come up with 150,000.
Right.
Yeah. So, but in 2009 we had it together, and the sculpture came and was placed at the farmers market, Sonnenschein Way. How perfect was that?
Yeah, who couldn't plan that?
Yeah.
Now, was that money privately donated? Was any of it?
All families donated to have their name then on the stones around it.
So no provincial funding, no heritage
funding? Nothing, no. One philanthropist came to help us out, and that was our rescue situation,
So when you were one of the founding members of the SGC, was it your intention then to be an organization that would be an umbrella for all of the various German activities throughout the province? As few as they were then. In the early days, you still felt the need that eventually we're going to need somebody to bring this all together. Was that essentially the mandate of forming the SGC?
Well, it was always meant to be an umbrella organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But you had no provincial funding to make that happen.
Not really. I don't remember that.
Do you know, Gabby?
I would have to look it up, but the provincial funding came a few years after.
Yeah.
So basically becoming on the minister's list as a eligible cultural organization came a few years after.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was volunteer driven.
Oh, yeah.
Which still very much continues to be the reason why the things in the arts in this province happen, is because on the backbones of volunteers. Yeah. You also founded Kulturgarten Saskatoon. when that was the Harvest Fest that you were celebrating, the Advent celebration, which we talked about in that recording back a few years ago. So that was something that didn't exist. Now, would that have been an activity through the Saskatchewan German Club?
Not really.
Just
no,
independently?
That was local. It actually grew out of that German Days thing. Yeah. And then after a while, German Days wasn't fitting anymore, so we changed the name to Kulturgarten because we wanted to provide or celebrate authentic celebrations relevant to Saskatchewan people. And Erntedank fit that bill because it's Thanksgiving festival. We have Canadian Thanksgiving also. And Thanksgiving, again, is one of the oldest feasts in Germany, too. Because, there's various harvests being celebrated in various regions. There are different places. There's Weinfest in wine areas.
The Harvest Fest still continues today?
Well, it did while we could celebrate it at the farmer's market. Downtown was perfect with that roof over, and we had that decorated up. We had a brass band. We processed the Erntekrone in, which is the harvest crown bound in wheat. People had never seen anything like that.
You're not doing even that anymore, yeah? Even through the church?
No, the harvest crown had just made a trip to Regina.
It did, so they're doing it there.
No, Gabi can
I can fill you in. So last Saturday, the Regina German Club had their 70th anniversary.
Right.
So we took the Erntekrone and the Samenbild, so the seed.
Oh, you took it
picture,
down with you?
Yeah, to down. It was displayed on stage, and we gave a little introduction about the meaning and where it comes from, and the fact that besides the rice, right, all of the seeds on the seed picture are Saskatchewan grown. I think people were very impressed by the fact that it's really a Saskatchewan German product.
Right.
So, but it's back here, so I don't know if you have any further plans.
We haven't found, like right now, you could go in a hall, but the price system, renting of a hall has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
As an organization, just volunteer work and not selling anything other than maybe the food, it's not feasible anymore.
But you are doing the Advent wreaths.
Yes.
And that will be coming up, gulp, summer's over officially. That'll be coming up sooner than we'd like. Right? So when do you start preparing for the whole Advent wreath?
Well, this is sound funny to people, but we actually look at the moon calendar. When is a good date to harvest the evergreens so they will not needle.
Ah, right. Right, because it's all fresh, no fake boughs.
Yeah. All fresh boughs, and it has a meter diameter, and it takes a lot of stuff to bind this Advent wreath.
But roughly, we're talking at the beginning of. I don't remember when Advent starts.
Usually in November, usually early November. Sometimes it depends how the cycles go.
And these wreaths can be seen. Well, do you still do them at the Nutrient Wonder Hub?
Yeah.
They're still good.
As long as they ask us to.
As long as their doors remain open.
Yeah.
Artistically, you have been very active in your own personal life. Tell me about this, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation. I know it translates roughly to farmer painting. Okay, you just say it so I won't butcher.
Bauernmalerei.
Okay, it's a mouthful.
It really is.
Right.
The Germanic way of decorating furniture, plates, cream cans.
And I'll put links in the show notes so that people can go and take a look at the images online. There are a lot of images and examples online.
Okay.
So was this something you did as a child that you continued?
No, actually, at one time I was artist in residence in Humboldt.
Were you?
At that time, yeah.
Was that through the Saskatchewan Arts Board, now
was the
SaskScapes?
Saskatchewan German Council was
Okay.
a program.
Okay.
And they were looking for a person to teach people these ways of decorating. Like, we work with straw, making straw stars for Christmas decorations. Basket weaving was a trade. What else? Scherenschnitte. We have a lady in the city here that does that.
What is that?
That's scissor cut.
Oh, scissor cutting. Oh, that's
Yeah.
Waltrad.
Yeah.
That's Waltrad.
That's Waltrad.
My dear friend Waltrad, who's yes,
Yeah,
we go back a long way. Yes, I've been to her house, so I've seen the scissor cutting. Yeah.
And I liked the Bauernmalerei, and I had not done much myself, but I was very fond of what I remember from back home. And then I found a fellow, Austrian fellow, that had announced, there was an article in the German newspaper, when we still had one, that this guy is trained in that. Gebhardt was his name. And he's giving classes around in Alberta. So I got a hold of him and asked him if he would be willing to come to Humboldt and give a class there. And he said, sure, yeah. And so we had him there and giving us classes. And then there was a few that really took it on and ran with it, and I was one of them. So.
And how much of this are you still doing today?
I am still doing it. Right now I'm doing some bentwood boxes. And because I still have a lot of things prepped but not painted up.
And
so
are these for gifts or just
for gifts?
What lovely gifts! What lovely gifts!
Oh
to
yeah,
receive.
yeah.
Unique, one of
And
a
it's
kind.
actually a tradition. Like there are Schachtelmalers in Austria and in Switzerland that do just bentwood boxes, and they may give it to the child when it's baptized, put the name and the date in there, and then later they can put treasures in there, or for weddings or birthdays, or you can personalize it.
When do you usually give yours?
Usually as gifts for weddings, I've done.
That's
mainly.
lovely.
Yeah.
Very unique. Something you won't find on a wedding registry at the store.
No. You can't
Now,
buy.
something else I know you do, because I caught you in the middle of it when I phoned you, is a lot of canning and preserving. Which makes sense now that I know your farming background. So how's that going? How did your garden grow this year?
Very good, actually.
Yes?
Yeah. And I have 2 boxes of plums sitting on my table to be canned
Still
tomorrow.
plums?
Oh,
I swear you were
more
doing plums when I called you.
Yeah, probably did. But yeah, I did. Maybe
So-
that was for Zwetschgenkuchen. I had to make one for an event.
Yes, you're quite the baker.
Yeah, I love baking. You know, that's another thing I did in Humboldt when I realized they even forgot their food, German food. And especially after that first Kaffeestunde, there was only 2 elderly ladies that could make a Marmorkuchen or something like that. And all the other younger women said, Rosa, you have to teach us how to bake this. And so I set up baking classes in my own home, my own kitchen.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question on your time in Humboldt. I mean, Humboldt always had a very strong community, but also like close to Münster with Münster and the cathedral. Was there any connection with the abbey or the cathedral? Because there also used to be the St. Petersburg newspaper in German for a while before they switched it. So was there ever an overlap or a connection or an exchange at the time?
Not an exchange, but they were very supportive always. Like, I got to know most of the monks there and the abbot, and had a good relationship with them, and they supported me, verbally and what I was doing, because that just was the heritage of that whole region. The whole St. Peter's Abbey was all German, 90%. And the monks are now dwindling in number, and I think it is hard just to survive now.
Yeah. Well, you commented you had listened to the Abbey.
I'm so glad
episode.
because he is gone now.
Yeah, is he gone?
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
Abbot Peter is gone. He died. Yeah.
He was so lucid and with it when we had.
Oh yeah, I
talked.
can still see him. Like yeah. I was there for the funeral. Was in Humboldt. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I'm glad you did that.
Yeah. Yeah, if for no other reason, that was the purpose of this series, was to preserve the voices of people who we would no longer hear from. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Okay. Absolutely.
I'll put this out to both of you, and we've talked about this before. How concerned are you that all of this work that you've done is going to disappear when your generation leaves us? And how concerned are you that this is not being passed on or to younger generations, so that there isn't any interest in, the children of people with German heritage in Saskatchewan? Is that an ongoing issue that you all talk about? I mean, I know that's been something that the SGC has been constantly thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, of course, even just when you plan strategically, you wonder. And I mean, we've all, even in my 25 years here, seen changes in immigration patterns from people of German-speaking countries who can pass the torch to.
Yeah.
So there's always worry, but then I think we also need to understand that culture always changes, history always changes, and maybe our work will be in a different form. Like at the SGC, we might cater more to people who are not necessarily all immigrants or first generations. It may be, later generations. It may be people who travel to Germany who have business connections, but a great interest. Having said that, I've also often heard and observed this at the German Language School, that while the next generation of immigrants might not have been too interested in it, it's often the generation after.
Oh.
That basically the grandchildren, they were the ones who wanted to come back to the German Language School because they started to value that piece of the heritage that they might not have experienced as much. So for me, there's hope in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the same. And I notice it's not just the German community that has this concern.
No.
It's all of them. Like if they be Japanese or Ukrainian or Polish, whatever, they all seem to have the same concern.
How much of this has rubbed off with your own children?
They are, language-wise, they're functional in German, yeah.
And they've been
to Germany, several times.
Okay, right.
And the boys, when we have two boys and a daughter, they had been on the exchange program where we had a German fellow here for 3 months, and they went to their place in Germany. And our daughter stayed with my brother and has a daughter same age, so she did that. And actually, she's doing quite well. Mm-hmm. And the grandchildren, though, there are some, that they want to learn German. Mm-hmm. Which is encouraging. Yeah.
At what point did you realize, like in your early adventure to Canada, that the German culture is important to you? Like, because as a young person, I always feel it's not that important. You want to follow your own path, but at what point became it sort of important to you?
I was so eingebunden, how do you say that in English, into the culture, because we totally lived it through that agricultural youth movement, we celebrated all those festivals, and we were, if we were hiking, we were always doing hiking on a Sunday afternoon after church. We would say, okay, where are we going today? And 6-7 of us would say, okay, this time we'll go to this lookout tower or to that castle. It's all within. Yeah. And singing all along, singing is a good tradition. So I know, and then I was in the choir, and I was in choirs here too in Yellowknife, so even. And so singing is a big part, and then just go up with the traditions. They are so part of my DNA.
Right.
I can't help it.
Right.
And that is, and the kids love it. Like my daughter will call, Mom, I haven't got this recipe yet. Can you send that to me? And when they come home for Christmas, like this year, Calgary crew will come. We have to do the traditional, otherwise they'll let me know. No, we have to do it. So that's nice,
So even though you had this must be a German word, Wanderlust,
Wanderlust, yeah.
This desire to travel, no matter where you were. That DNA of yours, that heritage of yours, you may have desired to be elsewhere on the planet, but you didn't desire to leave behind who you were.
And it's interesting that it is Canada, and that dawned on me. It was on a very cold winter February morning in Humboldt, and it was one of the elderly ladies, German ladies in Humboldt. She gave me her reader, like a Lesebuch, and she said, Rosa, you have this. There's some of these nice old poems in there, and you probably enjoy that. So I sat there, the kids are in school, husband at work, and I said, I opened this book. Here is the poem von Ludwig Uhland, Die Auswanderer. I read this and I thought, oh my God, I chose this poem at our graduation class. We had to do our own programming. And everything in that poem is what I did. And that was then, and then even earlier in school, in geography, we had excellent teacher, really excellent teacher, took Canada in detail. He had us put in groups. This was grade 6 and 7. He put us in groups of 4 or 5, and he'd give each one a theme about Canada. And my group got the theme, Das reiche Kanada braucht Menschen. The rich Canada needs people.
Yeah.
Can you get more pointed?
Yeah.
I remember that. We had to look at the size of the country, the population density compared to Germany. Well, that is a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there were so many steps from that dream on that just led me to where I ended up. And that's why I've never was homesick.
That's why you were never homesick.
Never homesick.
Because somehow you felt like you had come.
Belonged, yeah.
Yeah. No regrets.
No regrets. Now I got my own family here.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
I guess you always knew.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing more of your story with me than the last time years ago.
Yeah.
But you've made a significant mark in this province, and I hope that gets recognized, that people just don't say, well, this happened, these things happened in Humboldt once upon a time. We don't know how they happened. And I don't think that's ever in danger of happening with the SGC. I think the SGC always pays tribute to its founding members, and remembers its founding members.
We did last year when we had our anniversary and at our AGM/Treffpunkt.
Yeah.
Actually, we had, I think, 4 or 5 early members, not all of them founding members, but 4 or 5 were there.
Yeah.
And two or three of them founding members, and that was after 40 years. So that was very, very special. And we took a really beautiful photo, including Rosa in it, because that's a long time of being a volunteer and still being, some of them still being active in the community too.
Well, when we think of people who have done significant work as volunteers in this province, we will remember and acknowledge your work, because it's pretty important that these cultures stay alive. So may it continue in some form. I think the SGC will be around for a long time yet.
I do hope so very much.
So too.
Thanks to both of you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening. Music for SaskScapes is provided by Saskatchewan-born singer-songwriter Jeffrey Straker. SaskScapes can be downloaded from iTunes, Google Play, and all of the other major podcasting apps. So tell me, what fuels the culture in your community? Who has a story that must be heard? Consider bringing SaskScapes to your part of the province. Email us at saskapes@gmail.com or find us on Facebook. Please share your thoughts on this episode or any of the episodes by writing a review in the iTunes Store or Google Play. Your star ratings help our audience grow. Remember, our stories are our legacy. Now, somewhere around the world for years to come, stories like those found in SaskScapes are being heard. Think about it. We're creating an oral archive so that who we are in this province is never forgotten. I'm Kevin Power. Join me again next time.